So I'm going over Sins of San Diego Part 2. Who was here for the first class I did on this? Who watched it? Just you? You watched it? All right, cool. So we're going to pick up from where we left off. Go to 1 Peter 4 and 7. Let's start there.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 4 and verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer.
One more time.
But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer.
One more time. I need more fire from you.
But the end of all things is at hand.
There we go. Now he's awake, y'all. Hey, welcome. Welcome to Tuesday night. You know, I need way more energy from him. He sounds like he's asleep. Read it again. One more time.
But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer.
All praises. So last time we went over the spirit specifically of like San Diego, right? And how a lot of things in San Diego are played off as like a joke. Like San Diego, as an example, is America's most fun city, right? So the first thing I want to pull up, right, go to Romans 13 and 11, and we're going to pull up some articles, right? I'll kind of give you all a recap. We talked about how San Diego was settled, right, and how it's relevant for us to know these things, right, and why it's important for us to look at these things and allow it to fuel us. So we're going to look at Romans 13:11 real quick, and then, Susie, I'm coming to that article number 1.
The book of Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
So when we look on the news or we look at what's going on, even what Bishop was bringing out in the class on Sabbath and then Memorial blowing trumpets, right? You could look at these things and see things are getting worse, right? But what a place like this does is it makes you complacent, right? It puts you in a mindset where there's no issues, right? Everything is easy going. Right, everything feels cool, right? We just had 92-degree weather. I heard a bunch of people complaining about the AC, right? It's brothers who's 100 degrees every day, right, Jair? You know what I'm saying? It's 100 degrees. I was complaining. You know what I'm saying? It's hot. It's hot. You know what I'm saying? It's hot. You know what I mean? But we complaining about AC, but we going to be in the wilderness, right? So we got to really get our mind out of Babylon, right? That was the point of the class. So we're going to go into it more because there's more history, right? I don't know how many of these I'm going to do. You know, I might do 800, but I'm going to stop at some point because I just feel like I got to at some point. But there's a lot about San Diego that we don't know. So one thing I went over last time is scroll down just a little bit, sis. The water supply in San Diego. A lot of people do know this. A lot of people don't know this, right? So water supply. Read that at the top.
Water supply. An adequate and reliable water supply is vital for all of us.
So what they're saying is in order to survive, you need water, right? Go ahead.
Historically, the city of San Diego's water needs have greatly outpaced the local supply from rain. The city purchases approximately 85 to 90% of its water, which is imported from Northern California and the Colorado River.
So these are things that's important to know, right? In order for you to live, you need water. The water ain't here. So if ish goes down, what are you going to do? Right? You need water to survive. How many days you can survive without water? Anybody know? Go ahead, Emu. You can survive 72 hours without water. Right? So if you can only survive 72 hours without water, and I told you, hey, you were living in a place where the water's not even here, you can't even go drink water, how would you act? You would have more urgency about yourself, right? But right now we could turn on the tap and go to Sam's Club or go to Walmart, so our mindset ain't there. Go ahead.
The crazy thing is that, just laying back on what you said, just because I ride motorcycles, just right over that mountain over there, you look and see the mountains, that's all desert. People don't realize, like we living in a desert, like right over that hill over there, all desert.
See? And
all desert.
We don't see that, right? We see the beach, we see the palm trees, so we think we not in the middle of the desert. You know what I'm saying? This is like what they call that thing, an oasis. Right? That's what San Diego was designed to be, was to be an oasis. But it ain't real. If you watch shows, it's like a movie, right? They walking through the middle of the desert, they about to die, and they see something, they're like, man, it's a lake right there, and they go over to it, and then they pass out in the middle of the desert. That's what this is. Let me get the next article. The next one. All right, so go ahead, read it.
San Diego is the most fun place to live in the U.S., according to new report.
Go ahead.
San Diego KGTV, U.S. News, and World Report has confirmed what many San Diegans already know. America's finest city is the most fun place to live in the U.S.
So remember what we just said now, right? We living in the middle of the desert. It's listed as the most fun place to live in the U.S., right? So this place is purposely set up, again, for you not to focus on what's happening to you. That's what y'all got to be able to see. That's what this was designed to be, was to be a place where we're going to put the Negro to sleep. We're going to put the Native American to sleep. We're going to put the Mexican man to sleep out here. We're going to give them fun things to do. We're going to get our water from Colorado. We're going to bring it on in. We're going to give them some beaches and some palm trees, and they're not going to think about nothing. You know what I'm saying? What Lil Wayne say? I don't see no oppression. That's what he said. That's what this is. He said, I don't see no oppression. That's what this is. This is a place that'll make you say, I don't really feel that oppression. Because it ain't the Deep South. We know what happens in the Deep South, right? Those of us that are from the East Coast knows what happened in the East Coast, right? Me and Alicia, every time we try to get on the elevator this weekend, the white folk will hit the elevator and jump in it and go up. I was like, damn, I didn't know it was like this over this side. You know what I'm saying? You like when you start looking for racism, you know what it look like. It's a completely different thing. But out here, it's there, but you won't see it as much, right? So go to 1 Thessalonians 5:2. So that's kind of what I was digging into last time, right? Just the fact that this place is designed to put us to sleep. So let's see what the scriptures say about that.
The book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 2.
Go ahead.
For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night.
So we know that the day of the Lord is coming. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them.
So what you are getting told in San Diego, California is peace and safety. Read that verse again.
For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them.
So the place we just watched Chicago, right? Bishop was bringing that out about Chicago. In Chicago, there is no peace and safety. So those people, those brothers and sisters that live there, they're not going to have a sense of a lack of urgency. They're not going to be chilling. The brothers that live in Jackson where the water ain't working right now, they're not going to have a lack of urgency. But San Diegans, you're going to have a lack of urgency. That's why he was telling them this when they went in Thessalonica. He's telling them, people are going to tell you peace and safety. Right? Read it again from the top one more time.
For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them.
So when you hear that, destruction is coming. Go ahead.
As travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
If you believe you're safe when you hear safety or you feel safety, destruction is coming. That's exactly what a thief does. Right? Don't they say the Lord come like a thief in the night? When a thief comes, are you waiting for him? Nah, you peaceful. Then he comes. Go ahead. I don't know what just happened, but I don't know what just happened, bro. All right. Hey, okay, keep reading. My bad. Wow.
Verse 4. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness.
Yes, sir.
That day should overtake you as a thief.
Uh-huh.
Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. And we are not of the night nor of darkness.
So we are not of darkness, meaning we know what's about to happen in this earth. So we shouldn't be confused about what's going to happen next. We shouldn't be confused that San Diego is going to turn to SHIT. Shouldn't be confused by that. We should already have that in our mind. We should know this is a desert. This is not a place we're going to get to relax at. So we shouldn't be relaxing. Read the next verse.
Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober.
So he told us to watch, pay attention, and be sober. Be clear-minded. Be focused. Don't get caught up in this thing thinking it's going to be peace and safety. That's what he told them to do. That's what we got to do here today. Right? 2 Corinthians 6 and 17. 2 Corinthians 6.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
So the more we grow in this truth, the more we should come out of this world. The more we should find comfort in the Bible and the scriptures and the understanding that we're getting taught, being around the brothers, being around our sisters, That should happen as you grow in this truth. You shouldn't continue to find comfort in the world because you understand this place is going to be destroyed. The way you do things is going to be destroyed. You're not going to get up, go to Starbucks, get your morning coffee, right? Go to the house, read the paper, put your clothes on, shower with the water. That's not going to be happening. You're going to wake up, might be a bear on your behind. You might have to shoot the bear, take a doodle in a hole, pack your stuff up and walk. That's what's about to happen. But we're not thinking like that. We moving like, hey, man, I'm finna get up in San Diego and the Lord going to take me out of my bed in San Diego. That's what these classes are about that Bishop has been bringing out, is the fact that you're not going to be comfortable when the time of salvation comes. So that's how we got to think. We got to understand it's not going to stay like this. So we have to prepare ourselves and move properly. Everybody follow what I'm saying? All right. All right, go to 1 Corinthians 7:31. Here go my disclaimer. Because I know how, you know what I'm saying? Like I said last time, it's a sister saying, I hate when he teach. He always talking about, I want to go to the beach with my husband, and he's saying this. 1 Corinthians 7:31.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 31. And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away.
So the things of this world are going away. That's what he's telling us, right? The things that we see, the things that we've grown comfortable with, they are going away. Your car, exploding. You know what I'm saying? About to blow up. Your favorite swimming pool, gone. Right? The thing you like to do on the weekend outside of the Bible, gone. The only thing you're going to have is your understanding of the scriptures and your brothers and sisters until you get the kingdom. Then maybe you go swimming in the pool. But that's how our mind got to be. This stuff we cannot be so connected to this, right, that we lose sight of what we need to be doing in terms of going to camp, doing the work, showing up on Tuesdays, calling a person over us, because that's what we're building is the future kingdom. So the way things are done, all of it's going to pass away. Give me that in Psalms real quick, where it says the whole world is upside down. Psalms 82, I think it's verse like 3, 4, 82 and 5. Read that.
The book of Psalms chapter 82 and verse 5. They know not, neither will they understand.
Yep.
They walk on in darkness.
See, that's not us. We shouldn't be walking on in darkness. Go ahead.
All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
Everything that you see on the earth is upside down. You understand what I'm saying to y'all? It's upside down. All of it is upside down, but we act as if it's right side up. San Diego is upside down because we telling you this should be the desert. But we live in it like it's the most fun place on earth. If I told you go live in the desert, you'd be like, hell no. Go ahead.
So we just read Psalms 82 and 5, right? Up and down is up. Let's land back off that and to give you a precept to understand something. Go to Romans 8 and 19. So Officer JDL said, you know, we get comfortable because it's 70 and sunny all year round. We got the water parks. We have Tijuana right there. We got LA right there. We got Vegas. We got the beaches. You know what I'm saying? We got all of that. Read.
Psalms 8 and what?
Romans 8 and 19.
Book of Romans chapter 8 verse 19. For the earnest expectation of the creature.
So it says the earnest expectation of the creature. The creature, right, being the creation. That means the water, the air, the grass, the trees, the birds, the bees, everything created. Start from the beginning again.
For the earnest expectation of the creature.
The earnest expectation of creation, read.
Waited for the manifestation of the sons of God.
Everything on earth is waiting for us to be manifested, the manifested of the children of God, to be identified of the children of Israel, for us to come back to a law, statute, and commandments. So when you read Psalms 82 and 5, it says up and down is up. That's because we haven't came back to the law, statute, commandments of God. That we're sitting in a place like San Diego, where we got everything at our whim, everything at our beck and calling. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to worry about winter. We ain't got to worry about rain. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to worry about nothing. But the Bible says in Romans 8 and 9, everything that God created is waiting for the manifestation of his sons to come back to his word. You understand what I'm saying?
I ain't even think about it. You ain't even got to worry about winter. I was driving, I was riding through New York. See what I'm saying? This place make you comfortable. I was riding through New York, and I think Alicia asked that and said, like, when it get cold, what happens out here? I'm like, you slipping and sliding. You got, you know what I'm saying? Brother said, I got to buy a truck for the winter.
The Dominicans put on some clothes.
Huh?
The Dominicans put on some clothes.
they finally get dressed. The debauchery. Sheesh. Yeah, you're right. The Dominicans be wilding out there. But yeah. Man, all right. So we was walking around. We like, man, it get cold out here. But we don't have that. We don't got 4 seasons. You ain't got to get a winter coat every winter and switch out your, you wear the same joint year round, and you comfortable. You saving money on that side. So there's a lot, that you don't have to deal with. So it makes you complacent. And this, I think Ananias said it last time when we was teaching the other one. He was like, a lot of people go through this just in different places. Right, but I'm emphasizing San Diego because this is where we at, right? But this is a mindset that can happen even with snow. You could get to a place where you're just like, I'm good, I'm set for the snow for life, and you go through the motions. Thank you. Let's read Deuteronomy 28. So we touched on the foundation of San Diego, right? So I'm gonna recap it at a very high level. We're not gonna watch the videos again. Lord willing, it'll get edited, and y'all will see it on YouTube if you missed it. But we'll touch some of the stuff we touched last time. So go to Deuteronomy 28 and 49. So all of us know this verse, right? All of us know this verse. Read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Jair ain't like it, that little cut I threw in there. Go ahead.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
So somebody, real quick, explain that to me. Somebody explain that to me. One of the brothers. One of the brothers. Explain that verse to me.
Shalom, leadership. Can you go ahead and read that for me, sir?
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
All right, right there. Okay, so the Lord shall bring a nation against us because we sinned, we disobeyed God's laws. He brought a nation against us that would take us from our land, and they was as swift as the eagle. And as we see, the eagle is the symbol of many nations from the past and today, America. Continue.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
A nation who we didn't speak their language, and they didn't speak our language, so we wouldn't understand them.
Okay, that's all I want, right?
Yes,
now
sir.
give somebody else the mic and somebody explain that as it relates to San Diego. Explain how that relates to San Diego.
Nation against the far. We all spread out, and we're now all together. We're now all together and congregating.
Okay, but that scripture is talking about history, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how does that relate to the history of San Diego? You was here last time too.
Yes, sir.
You don't be going over your notes.
They actually
I asked you a question. You go over your notes after you take them?
sometime.
Okay,
Yes,
I love honesty.
Yeah, but we all, like I said, we all.
I'm the same way sometimes, right?
Yes, sir.
But
So
when you take your notes, go over them and write them in your Bible.
Yes, sir.
All right. So when we talked about it last time, who came against San Diego first? Who was the first people to come to San Diego? What nation were they?
The Spaniards came and
Okay.
pushed out the natives that were here
Okay.
and pushed them out of this country and pushed them out and took over their land.
Okay.
And then they put out false history that we all greeted them nicely, and they showed that through history, that it was different.
Okay. All right. That's not bad. That's essentially what we covered, right? So read that verse again, Yasadi. You can sit down. That wasn't bad. That's what I wanted you. That's why I'm bringing this out, because y'all read Deuteronomy 28 a lot of the time, and we break it down as if it got nothing to do with anything going on here, right? We have no clue how to make it relevant to the people that are in San Diego or the people that we teach outside, right? So we try to, but we reach, right? We don't do no historical research. We don't look at what has happened, and then try to make it relevant to like the place we're in. Does that make sense? All right. So read Deuteronomy 28:49. Watch.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
So what Bro Max said was correct, right? The Spaniards came against California specifically first, right? they had there was not Spaniards, there was actually Russians in San Francisco, right? But there's the north part, but specific to San Diego, who came to San Diego were the Spaniards, right? So a man named Juan Cabrillo in 1542, he came from Spain, right, through the leadership of Guatemala. They were Spaniards as well, right? And they told him to go over there and look for somewhere to trade. So he stopped off in the bay, right, in Mission Bay. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
So obviously he spoke Spanish. He was a Spaniard man, right? The people that were living here at the time were called a Kumiye, right? So Kumyaay, right? Kumyaay. That's who they are, right? So those were the natives that lived here first, right? Also, there was another man named Sebastian Vizcano. He named San Diego after Saint Diego, right? So that's what San Diego was named after, San Diego or Saint Diego, right? Diego Alcazar is his name, right? Or Didicus de Alcazar, right? That was his name. They believed he was a saint. This man believed he was a saint. He honored him. He actually came here and held like a dinner for him and then named the land after him, right? That's what happened here. So we touched on this last time. Read verse 50 now.
A nation of fierce countenance.
So they were a people of fierce countenance, right? There was a tribe already here, right? There was the Kumeyaay people. It's Kumeyaay, right? I left out the E. Kumeyaay, right? Left that out last time. So Kumeyaay is how it's pronounced, right? So the Kumeyaay people came here and were settled already, right? They, as a part of Second Ezra's, right? And I'm not going to get all that history, but y'all understand what happened. They came over here. They take that journey. They're over here. From what I see about them, they'd be the tribe of Gad, and they were already settled, right? There were other tribes like the La Jolla Indians, but as far as like for the initial conquering, they weren't dealt with yet. All right, keep going.
Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
Okay, so what we dug into to start was the tip of the missions, right? That's what we kind of stopped at. What the missions were, the missions kind of got set up in San Diego. A mission, it relates to Catholicism, all right? Missions have missionaries. They go out and they baptize people into Catholicism, right? Dip them in the water. They come into Catholicism. So we touched briefly on Catholicism, right, and how it's heavily rooted in San Diego, right? So that's kind of how we wrapped up. All right, everybody on the same page? Okay. All right, give me Ecclesiastes 7:7. Then we go into that video, sis. I think it's probably number 3. I'm going to tell you right now. Read that.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
So when you see the purpose really is for y'all to see the oppression that our people have been through here and understand it's your job to bring it back to where it needs to be, right? Bring your people up out of here and get them the deliverance they deserve. Because have the people that we just talked about that conquered your people and put them in missions, have they received their punishment from the Lord? They haven't, right? The only way that's going to happen is if you go out there and you teach the Bible and you wake them up. That's the only way that's going to happen. So a part of this is you to understand what happened and what you're working to fix. Does that make sense? So as we going through this is how y'all should think about it. This is why you should not be complacent, because these people never got justice for their families being killed, for their mothers being raped, for their sons being raped, for being flogged. We read it. We watched in the last video. They literally, when they went against what the priest told them to do, they were flogged. Can we just look up flogging real quick? Don't show me no pictures. Just look up the word flogging. See, brothers don't know what flogging is. You know what I'm saying? They think it's like when you put a flag on a pole. Yep. See, sis, like what? What's flogging? Y'all finna Google this and y'all gonna be like, this is what they did to our people? They flogged your people. That's what I said. Last video we watched, nobody react because nobody know what flogging mean. So I watched it. Jair sent it to me, and I was like, nobody reacted to flogging, so we got to look up what flogging is so we can understand. All right, read it.
Flog. Beat someone with a whip or stick as punishment or torture.
So that's what they did to your people. Whenever they rebelled, they beat them with sticks, with whips. This is men, women, and children, right? Whenever they went against the mission, this is what happened at the mission, right? So when we watching these videos, understand what the mission was. The mission was a place. It was set up. It's like a church. It's actually still here. We could take a visit if we wanted to. You understand what I'm saying to you? We could take a visit. It's still here. Still set up in San Diego, the first mission they set up. They moved it 5 miles down the street and set it up. So you got to understand what you're dealing with. All right? Go ahead.
Just something to throw out there, which is crazy. When I was in elementary school out here in San
Diego. You
Diego.
had to build one with sugar cubes, didn't you?
What?
That's a project. That's a project.
Oh, for real?
You're going to see it in one of these videos. But my rib went there. Go ahead. Carry on.
Okay, I thought you were messing with me.
No, I'm dead serious. They had people building them with sugar cubes.
That's crazy. But just as crazy, they took us there as kids. You have natives and Hispanic kids going to these missions. They're over here, oh, yeah, these are the missions where the Catholics were at, making it sound all nice and pretty. Meanwhile, for them, it's just a representation of them conquering your people and making you to live the way you do now. The reason why you dress the way you do now, walking in there with your hairstyle the way you do now, with the comb over, that was Esau who did that to you in the Spanish missions. You know what I'm saying? That was I don't have a
Now look at my man here right here. Look at that baldy. He got the whole top. Hey, bro, if you balding, your joint don't look like that. If you balding, it's all right. Rock your joint because it don't look. It's no way you gonna look like that. You good. If he can rock that with confidence and conquer your people, you can rock whatever you want to rock. All right? I'm being silly, but it's serious. I was looking at these pictures like, I'm good. I rock the one with pride. That's ridiculous. All right, go ahead, hit play. 5 minutes. We starting at 5. We'll go to 8 minutes. So listen, officers, if y'all want to jump in, if y'all got anything, go ahead.
Ultimately, the Spanish government envisioned the Native Americans staking the claim within 10 years, being subjects of the Spanish crown and owning land, basically becoming townspeople or farmers. In the meantime,
So what he said there really quickly was the plan was only to last 10 years. They were going to come in and conquer your people and destroy people who had been living there for centuries in 10 years. That was their plan. That's what they said. Esau bold. He said they only had a 10-year plan. They was going to come in, kill everybody, set up these missions 10 years. Right? So hit play.
They vested in these Catholic missionaries, Father Junipero Serra and the people that worked with him, the power to operate the land in trust through the mission, while the military set to secure the land that they had conquered. The need for supplies was dire in the early years of San Diego, so food and water management was top priority. These native people were to be converted to Catholicism, if willing to accept baptism. But under the strict rules of the Franciscans that ran the mission, they were bound to the land of the mission. They were barred from leaving. They were forced to labor without choice. It may be farming, it may be fixing things, it may be cooking, those kinds of things. If they attempted to run or disobey, they were flogged, or there would be another type of corporal punishment, usually administered by the military and by priests. But even...
Wait, pause it. By who? By the priest. Right? So the same dude walking around with the collar, now he was beating your people if they didn't work. Remember, they said they were forced to work. They were not allowed to leave.
They still, them dudes and nuns are still whooping our butts in them churches today.
You're 100% right. They 100% do. Catholic schools, overseas, even today, even here, they kicking your ass for you to worship white Jesus. And that's what they did here. They beat us into submission. That's why we read verse 50. They said they didn't regard the young or the old. Because that's what they did to us. They whipped us. Go ahead, hit play.
Junipero Serra would complain about the practice that was going on, things that were going on. And he filed the complaint up the imperial bureaucracy to no avail. But they did manage to secure rights for Native Americans. But we should remember it was the conquerors who converged to the areas.
There's so much in here, man. I'm going to try to let it go because I want to. You heard it, right? He said he tried to file a complaint up the top, but to no avail. Do you think he stopped working his job? You see what I'm saying? Y'all got to hear Esau say things like that and understand. They'll play it as if they tried to fix the issue, but then they keep whooping on you.
And what was he filing a complaint for?
For people getting flogged.
For their rights.
Yep.
The stranger that is beneath you should get up above you. That's crazy.
Go ahead.
In 1769, who would dictate the terms of everyday life. The conquerors who took their land altered their way of life, brought diseases, and in some cases, extreme cases, exacted horrible violence upon them. Rape, theft, injury. So when we look at 1769, we know that the mission is created in 1769, in July 1769. We know that there's an uprising in August of 1769, an uprising by the Native Americans. This uprising does not succeed. In time, the Spanish are able to build up the Presidio through stockades and through various things, but it should be remembered that at this point, it's still an incredibly critical time. They didn't just sweep through and say, this is the way it's going to be. What they did do, though, was they built the foundations of what they were going to need and to have to convert to Catholicism. The Native Americans were willing to convert them to Catholicism, to get essentially claim holders, to get these towns going, to get these settlements started. Because now it was time for the Spanish to utilize the land and the resources
It's at 8 minutes.
that they were claiming.
What I tell
And
you,
that
5 to
will be
8?
an incredible struggle.
Okay, let's go to 8:30.
There's going to be continued violence. This is not going to start out as being incredibly successful. There are going to be pleas back to headquarters for supplies. It's going to be a challenge for anyone.
You can
anyone.
So I wanted to go to 8:30 because you hear what he said. He said it was not easy, right, to get done. There was going to be a battle, right? We're going to continue to have issues, right? So let's go to Malachi 1 and 3. Right? So a few things that was in that video, if y'all didn't catch them. They lost their land. They had to work the land that the priest came and took over and told them they had to work by force, and they were flogged if they tried to leave the land, right? They lost any ability to plan their own destiny at that point because they could not leave the land that they were forced to work on without being whooped or tortured, right? The goal was to conquer the people or make them into a colony in 10 years, right? When they're telling you they were converting them, that means to baptize them into the Catholic faith. That means white Jesus, right? Everything that they believe in, right? Christmas, Easter, all of these different things. The exact same thing that the Native Americans had ran from over to this side to escape was back, right? Now, obviously, we know they weren't completely keeping the commandments of God, but what y'all got to understand is these are the things that happen to your people, right? Y'all have to view those as your people and understand that's what happened to your people, right? And you're standing, I said this last time, we sitting on their dead bodies, standing on their dead body. When we go to camp and we stand up on the street corner, their bodies are under it, right? That's what's there. In order for there to be a Denny's or a McDonald's is dead forefathers. That's how you make a Denny's, right? You got to kill the people that's there, and then you got to build the building. You understand? All right, read Malachi 1 and 3.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 3.
You saying what you wanted to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all praises. Let's read that. No, let's read Malachi 1 and 3, then we'll get what you want.
Okay. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
So the Lord said he hated Esau and he laid his heritage to waste at one point, right? Go ahead.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
So that's what happened. Esau came back, right, during the so-called Renaissance period, and they built the desolate places, right? Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
So the Lord is guaranteeing that he's going to destroy them. But there's something else he adds in here. Go ahead.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
So they are the border of wickedness. The border is the beginning and the end of something. So you got to understand, we living in a place set up by the border of wickedness. You understand? That's what this is. This place was established by people who are the beginning and end of evil. So you think this is the most fun place in the States to live, or is it the most wicked place? Or is it the place of your destruction? These are the things we got to really be able to look at, right? Officer Sadia has something. I want him to bring it up.
Yeah. Can you pull that? I just posted in the Telegram. Because it's just going into an example of how they treated our people. All right, got this book here by Ptolemy de las Casas, Destruction of the Indies. It goes into the histories. And back then they called San Diego, Mexico, and a couple of the other bordering states New Spain. So when they came over here, they said, we're going to declare this New Spain. And it was a quick and fast race to conquer and destroy all the people that were on the land. All right, so go to the next page, or the next one I sent you.
Yeah, it says within these 12, it's starting at the pencil mark. Can you put the pointer where it is? Within these 12 years, the Spaniards have destroyed in the said continent by spears, fire, and sword, computing men, women, youth, and children above 4 millions of people, and these their quest or conquest. For under that word they mass their cruel actions. Okay, I can't really see. Your picture's horrible, bro.
It is. That's
All
my
right.
bad. It looked better on my phone. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Dang, what you got?
I got an Android.
I'm gonna help him out. I'm gonna get him a better Android. All right, go ahead though. We listening.
Yeah, but just to go to the point where it says they're the border of wickedness. For you to go to another land, it says they destroyed men, women, and children, old and young, just like in Deuteronomy 28, verse 50.
Yep.
It's the same thing that happened there, right? It
4
says
million people.
4 million people
A lot
in
of
12
people.
years.
It's
4
a
million.
lot of people, bro. That's why they had that 10-year plan, because they like, we could get, if we knocked out these 4 million, we could dang sure knock out these people over here in San Diego.
Yep.
Y'all got to know who y'all dealing with, right? We're dealing with the border of wickedness. Can I get that wiki article? So I started looking into this a little bit more because I really wanted to dig into when they initially came here, right? So we're gonna start, Yasadia. Can you read that?
Yep.
Where it says scroll up a little bit, sis. No, not the other way. My bad. Yeah, decision to send. We're gonna start from decision to send expedition. So if you scroll down a little bit, it was there. Scroll down just a little bit more, you're gonna see it in black. Yep,
Okay.
decision to send expedition. So read that.
Decision to send expedition.
So the time period we're in right now, for history's sake, right, is like the 1760s all the way up to the 75 we're gonna go over, right? Go ahead.
By the late 1760s, the Spanish king and a handful of other European rulers began to realize the importance the Pacific coast of North America would have in maritime trade and activity.
Right, so understand, Esau was all around, right? We about to get into it because it say Europe started to realize the importance of the Pacific coast of North America. On the west, just for history's sake, on the east coast, you had the 13 colonies and you had Jamestown, right? But over here was free fall going on, right? England and the European settlers from England hadn't come this way. The British from England that had settled on that side in Jamestown, they hadn't even been this way yet. So you got to understand, we're dealing with different players on this side. So the root of this thing is based on different groups of Esau. We're still under the eagle now, but the root of this thing is based on a different group of Esau. So remember, the border, the beginning and the end of wickedness. It was wickedness, just a different type. You understand? All right, go ahead.
The Russians had been advancing south from their strongholds in present-day Alaska, and the British had been pushing west in Canada and were approaching the Pacific coast.
So you had the Russians in Alaska, right? You had the British pushing west in Canada. Go ahead.
In order to secure Spain's claims in California, Charles III wanted to explore and settle the coastline so that he would create a buffer zone to protect Spain's territories from the threat of invasion.
So them conquering San Diego, they didn't give a damn about these people that was here. It was about conquering this place before the other Edomites did. Y'all understand what's happening here, right? Y'all on the same page. So when they came here to begin with, it wasn't about our people, right? Let's get rid of them and set up a fort. Let's set up some sort of stronghold. Let's make sure we got some food so that it's easy for us to hold off the people that are coming towards our land. Y'all following? All right. Keep going.
Upon hearing about the king's desire to explore Alta California, New Spain's Visitador, Inspector General, Jose de Galvez, organized an exploratory expedition and placed Governor Portola in overall command.
So Portola is a street in San Diego. Y'all ever heard of Portola? That's exactly. I'm like, they wasn't here. So whoever was here back in the day has been on Portola, because there's somebody y'all know that lived on Portola, right? So Portola is a street in San Diego, right? Go ahead.
The plan called for a joint land-sea movement up the Pacific coast.
Yep.
The job of the ships was to keep the land contingent supplied with provisions and to carry communications between them and New Spain. Portola decided to travel by land.
Go ahead.
The expedition's original assignment was to travel to the port of Monterey, described by Vizcano, and establish a settlement there.
So remember, Vizcano, we talked about him, right? Sebastian Vizcano, I came here and he found this place, right? So give me Psalm 64 and 6. So I'm pulling this up so y'all know these people don't move without a plan. So this place being peaceful is by design. There's a plan. It's to destroy you. Always been there. It's never not been a plan to destroy you. That has never not existed. Psalm 64 and 6.
Psalm chapter 64 and verse 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
So they had a deep thought. They said, we finna go over there, set this up, and we're going to be ahead of these other European nations. That's what they were worried about. But they knew when they got there, hey, there was going to be a group of people that lived there already. We're going to have to kill them. We're going to have to put them in the missions. We're going to have to beat them and get them to lay down, because we ain't really coming for them. We worried about our Edomite counterparts. So these dudes, we could care less about them. Let's kill them and get them to work the land so they can help supply food. Y'all got to understand, we were slave labor. That's what our people were here. They knew that coming here, we're going to use them as slaves so that we got a place where we could have the army come and we could take over and head north. Give me Psalms 55 and 21.
Psalms chapter 55 and verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
But is that what they said to our people? You think they came over there and said, hey, we trying to stop Britain from killing y'all? No. Just like today. Hey, man, San Diego's sunny, and it's the most fun place to live. You think they tell you, I want you to stay in sin and continue to live like a nigga here? You think they're going to say that? So historically, they doing the same thing they've always done, is to keep you asleep. Read it again.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter,
Yep.
but war was in his heart.
That's always what's in Esau's mind. That's in the U.S. government's mind. War is always in their mind. Go ahead.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Okay. Now give me the next article on the Mission Indians. So we digging into them coming over here to begin with, right? So we can see the root of it was never about your people. Yeah, they got burrito packs named the Monterey. I'm telling you, it's everywhere. But we'll go eat. We'll go buy a Monterey taquito. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Drive down Portola Ave. We'll drive to Mission Viejo, right? We'll do that. We'll just live. Everything will be named Mission. How many places named Mission in San Diego?
A lot.
Ain't that disrespectful?
Yeah, that's the crazy part, because they'll put it on your food. They'll put it in your clothing stores, your TV, video games, and it's crazy because, again, even down to the food and water you drink is branded on that stuff.
Yep.
And for them, it's a source of pride.
Yep.
For you, you're just doing it ignorantly, and then you take pride in it yourself. But for them, it's a source of pride of destroying your people.
Yep. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, they got a whole neighborhood, Mission Valley.
Mission Valley, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking about. So people live in Mission Valley and don't even understand why they put that name on it.
I'm trying to think of the name of that park right there, Presidio Park.
Presidio Park. Presidio Park is where they conquered the people at. You see what I'm saying? The first place that was set up was named Presidio, right? So all of it, that's what I'm saying. We got to be able to see this so we can not be comfortable here. Go ahead. You got a question? You need a mic. Thank you, sir. Just so we can have it on for everybody online. Testing.
Shalom, leadership. I was just going to say they had a middle school named De Portola.
Name what? Portola?
Portola, yeah.
Yeah, after the dude who conquered your people.
Right, and my high school was actually Junipero or Junipero Serra before they changed the name.
I'm telling you, it's everywhere, but we'll go. We ignorant. You know what I'm saying? And they design us that way, right? They design us that way. They take the little kids on field trips like Officer Yasadi was saying. It's by design. This is rooted in San Diego. to go to the mission as a child, see it, and you don't even realize this is where we killed your people at. You know what I'm saying? This is where we enslaved y'all at. Come on. Go through the same process the little Indian children went through. Come to this mission and look at it and bow down and say this is glorious, and then we're going to send you back to school to teach you white Jesus.
I wonder what Old Town was before it was Old Town.
Old Town was the first place where that's where the Kumeyaw lived. That's where I went through last time.
Yep.
That was the first settlement, and that's where the natives lived, and that's the first place they came and conquered them at. Was Old Town, California. So a lot of this that we looking at is Old Town.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The park that's right there, the historic one, because you know what made me look into this? We was out there, and I think we was doing a fly mission, and they had all native stuff in that little park right there where you drive and make that left and you go into the parking. They got all types of stuff like native stuff, and I'm like, dang, it's right by the bus stop. Once you start digging into it, you be like, dang, Old Town is where we founded, where our people were at, living in Old Town, but now it's where they throw festivals at and parties. Damn shame. All right, Mission Indians.
Mission Indians. Mission Indians are the indigenous peoples of California.
So they call them Mission Indians, right? And we don't call them Indians. We know that they're the tribe of Gad, right? But they call them Indians, call them slaves, right? Go ahead.
Who lived in Southern California and were forcibly relocated from their traditional dwellings, villages, and homelands to live and work at 15 Franciscan missions in Southern California.
So they forcibly relocated them from where they lived and forced them to live at the 15 Franciscan missions in Southern California. So understand what happened. You're not finna live over here. Go work at this mission. Let's roll down a little bit, sis, to history. All right, let's read that.
History. Spanish explorers arrived on California's coast as early as the mid-16th century. In 1769, the first Spanish Franciscan mission was built in San Diego.
That's the one we're looking into, right? This is the one we kind of doing our research on. So the first mission was built. Go ahead.
Local tribes were relocated and conscribed into forced labor.
Conscripted into forced labor.
Conscripted into forced labor on the mission, stretching from San Diego to San Francisco.
So they had missions all the way up the coastline. We focus on San Diego, but they set them up all the way up to the coastline. Officer Ann and I had pulled that up last time. Go ahead.
Disease, starvation, overwork, and torture decimated these tribes. Many were baptized as Roman Catholics by the Franciscan missionaries at the missions.
Go ahead.
Mission Indians were from many regional Native American tribes. Their members were often relocated together in new mixed groups, and the Spanish named the Indian groups after the responsible mission.
So they took them out of where they were at, and then gave them new names. That sound familiar? Sound real familiar, right? Read Jeremiah 50:33 real quick. This is why we gotta see this and be like, it's a whole different group of Edomites playing the same game. That's how you know it's a God. They wasn't calling the English that was over there taking us off of boats and naming us their last names, right? But they was doing the same thing. Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
So we were oppressed together. Even though we weren't physically together, we went through the same exact things over and over and over again. Let's go back to the article. I want you to get some of these names. You might run into this in the street. One day, somebody might say, this is who I am. Right? So start from, for instance.
Let me scroll down.
I'm giving you some terrible names to try to pronounce, but go ahead. For instance, the
Peoncoisham were named Luceños.
So they were renamed Luceños. Go ahead.
And the mission San Luis
No,
Rey.
after the mission, San Luis Rey. So they took the mission, right, San Luis Rey, and they said everybody that is in this mission is now Luceños. That's going to be who you are. That's how we describe you now. Go ahead.
After the mission San Luis Rey and the Acjaquemen were renamed the Juaneños. After the mission San Juan Capistrano and the Kiz and Kisianos renamed Gabriel Leño after the mission San Gabriel. The Catholic priests forbade the Indians from practicing their native culture.
Sound familiar? Go ahead.
Resulting in the disruption of many tribes' linguistic, spiritual, and cultural practices.
Now they speak Spanish. You understand? That's what they're saying to you.
Let's get that, because there's nothing new under the sun, all right? Let's go to 2 Maccabees. So just to prove there's nothing new underneath the sun, right, Avdon? Like there ain't no new tricks. It's just stubborn Israelites falling for the okie doke over and over and over again. So just what we reading here about the mission, and 2 Maccabees 6 and 6 cover it, but 1 Maccabees 1 and 41 is like a little bit more detail. Read that.
You said verse 41?
1 Maccabees 1 verse 41. Stop right there.
1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws.
See, it's same. Everybody should leave their laws. The same thing they was doing to us. Like, ain't nothing new under the sun. Read.
So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah.
Drop down to 50.
Verse 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
So, and it's the same thing going on right here. I didn't want to read the whole thing for time's sake because I know you got a lot, but it's the same thing, man. Same thing. It's crazy.
See? You know what I'm saying? Reasons to be upset, bruh. Read Sirach 7 and 7 real quick. This is my point, man. Y'all can't be walking around here chilling. You know what I'm saying? Stuff got to frustrate you in order for you to get up off of your behind and work.
It's crazy because I bought my car, my blue one, right, in Mission Viejo. Yeah. I had to ride through San Juan Capistrano to get to Mission Viejo to buy my car.
To buy your car,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. See, to pay taxes on it and a car payment. You know what I'm saying?
We still broke 3 and 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We in captivity, bro. Ride through your oppressor's name to get the car. And then you're going to pay me some taxes on the joint, man. It's tough. We got to see, like, no matter what direction we go in, you know what I'm saying? This is the only way out of it.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.